All right, we need to have a real talk about alcohol. I mean, it's a substance so deeply woven into our lives that we barely even see it anymore. But here's the thing, it holds this fascinating and honestly kind of terrifying contradiction right at its core.
So check this out. This is the central paradox. On one hand, alcohol is officially considered the most harmful substance on the planet. I mean, it kills more people every year than wars, homicides, and car accidents combined. But on the other hand, over 2 billion of us drink it. It's just become essential to how we celebrate, how we relax, even how we cope.
So that begs the question, right? Why? Why do we cling so tightly to the very thing that can cause us so much harm? Well, to figure that out, we've got to start with why it feels so good in the first place.
Let's talk about that buzz. What is actually happening inside your body and your brain when you feel it kick in? It turns out it's a really precise and pretty chaotic biological process. Okay, so from that very first sip, these alcohol molecules just flood your system. They make a dash for the liver, but, your liver gets overwhelmed almost immediately. It can only process a tiny bit, like 1 sip every 5 minutes. So the rest of it just bypasses the liver and makes a beeline straight for your brain. And that's where the party and, the problems really begin.
You see, this is where the magic trick happens. The alcohol starts to numb your neurons, which slows everything down and makes you feel sedated and relaxed. It stuns your prefrontal cortex. That's kind of like your brain CEO, which is why your inhibitions just melt away. But here's the kicker. It releases endorphins. These are the exact same feel-good molecules our brains make when we genuinely connect with people, through laughing or singing or just having a really deep conversation.
And that's why we love it so much. For a little while, the weight of being human just feels lighter. Those invisible walls of insecurity, they just crumble. Alcohol basically hijacks our natural bonding chemistry, and it offers this powerful shortcut to feeling connected. But that shortcut comes with a really steep price, one that you pay over a lifetime.
So, what does that lifetime of payment actually look like? Well, when that occasional drink turns into a weekly habit and then maybe a daily ritual, the damage just quietly builds up, round after round. So let me introduce you to the main villain of this story, a chemical called acetaldehyde. When your body breaks down alcohol, it creates this stuff, which is actually way more toxic than the alcohol itself. It's basically a poison that can get into almost every single cell in your body, just wrecking your DNA and tissues along the way. In the brain, this toxic assault causes real, physical, lasting damage. Your neurons literally start to shrink. The connections between them get severed, and this leads to slower thinking, memories that start to fade, and a much higher risk of dementia. And for young people whose brains are still developing, oh man, the damage is even more severe.
And the damage from that nasty acetaldehyde? It goes everywhere. It's a known carcinogen, and it's responsible for about 740,000 new cancer cases worldwide, every single year.
Your liver, which is right there on the front lines, takes a massive hit. It gets scarred into what's called cirrhosis, and that process alone kills another 600,000 people a year.
And it doesn't stop there, not at all. Regular drinking weakens the heart, it raises your blood pressure, and that leads to 500,000 more deaths from cardiovascular disease annually. Your whole body is just under siege.
So where's the line? Where does it get dangerous? Well, scientists see the risk of premature death go way up at around 3 drinks a day for men and less than 2 for women. Now compare that to the average consumption in a place like the EU. It's right on that edge. A lot of us are living way closer to serious harm than we even realize.
But here's something unique about alcohol's damage. It doesn't just hurt the person drinking. It has this unmatched ability to ripple outward and destroy the lives of totally innocent people.
Just take drunk driving. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are killed in accidents related to alcohol. But the really shocking fact is that more than half of the victims, 55%, weren't the ones drinking. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And, alcohol's role in lowering inhibitions and clouding judgment also makes it a massive driver of violence. It's pretty staggering, but across the globe, about half of all violent crimes and sexual assaults are committed by offenders who are under the influence.
And maybe the most tragic victims of all are the most innocent. Every single year, 600,000 babies are born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. It's a devastating and permanent condition, all caused by drinking during pregnancy. The ripple effect isn't just a ripple, it's a tidal wave.
So when you put all of this together, it really does feel like humanity made some kind of pact, almost like a deal with the devil. This quote just sums up that trade-off perfectly. For thousands of years, we've basically handed over our health and our safety, and in return, alcohol gave us an easy fix for one of our biggest challenges, just connecting with each other. But something really interesting is happening. That pact, it might finally be starting to break.
You see, younger generations, especially Gen Z, are drinking way less than their parents did. Binge drinking among teenagers has plummeted by 50% in the US. Even in cultures famous for their drinking, consumption is going down. And on the surface, this looks like a huge victory, right?
But it's not quite that simple. At the exact same time that young people are drinking less, their rates of loneliness and mental health issues are just skyrocketing. The number of teens who actually see their friends on a regular basis has fallen off a cliff. So it seems like while we might be solving one problem, we may be creating a whole new one.
And this leaves us with a really profound question for the future. For millennia, alcohol has been our social crutch. It's a flawed, dangerous tool for sure, but it was a tool for connection. So if we are finally starting to let it go, it's on us to figure out what comes next. How are we going to learn to connect, to celebrate, and to be vulnerable together without it?